everyone. A warm good morning to all of you. Today, of course, we will be discussing with a specific area, perhaps a very important area from the civil service point of view, that is civil service mains preparation. Usually these days, of course, when we are experiencing a lockdown, as I stated in my previous sessions, mains examination becomes all the more important, and the preparation for mains examination becomes very much crucial, since as the prelims examination is supposed to be postponed, you need to also prepare for mains examination, because the mains examination may arrive in a faster pace. Naturally, today I may be sharing some tips with regard to mains preparation, especially from the civil service point of view and also from the KS point of view, since KS candidates are also watching to me. I would also have KS students. So I will be giving some tips for mains preparation so that you can actually make your preparation comparatively easy and comparatively well articulated. Again, what is the basic difference between prelims examination and mains examination? Or perhaps what makes mains examination something special in comparison with that of prelims examination? It is from this question that we need to answer how to prepare specifically for mains examination. As I stated previously, prelims is just a knowledge test in the sense that both factual and conceptual questions are asked. Up to what extent you know a particular thing, up to what extent you are familiar with a particular concept, then there lies your answer. You can come or you can arrive at two close answers, out of which you can select predominantly the best answer or the most appropriate answer. But when it comes to mains examination, it is not like that. If prelims has options for you, options before you, you have four options, out of which you can select the best option. And in majority of the cases, you may have two options which are very close with each other, out of which you have to go for the best option. And naturally, you are done. But when it comes to the mains examination, things are entirely different. I would say that the entire gamut of things are different, and the mains preparation, of course, cannot be done in such a way that you usually do your prelims preparation. Reason behind this logic is very simple, or the reason behind this aspect is very simple, because mains is certainly not an objective paper, and it is definitely a subjective paper. It is certainly not a knowledge test. Listen very carefully. It is certainly not a knowledge test, because the knowledge test is already over at the prelims level. It is an analysis test. It is a, what do you say, it is a reasoning test, in the sense how much you are able to reason, how much you are able to analyze a question, and in what extent or to what extent you can answer a question properly. Here actually you need to reshift, or you need to refocus your study in such a way that you becomes a person who analyzes an incident properly. So here comes your first tip for mains preparation. When you read for prelims, you just read like a person who gather knowledge. But when you read for mains, definitely you read like a person who has, or a person who should develop your own perspective with regard to a particular event. I may give two examples with regard to this for your convenience, so that you people can understand it better. One example will be from Indian history, and another example can be given from Indian polity for better convenience. If you take, say for example, Indian history, when you prepare for prelims examination, you come across one single incident. Say for example, the Swaraj movement, or we can say, to be more precise, the Swadeshi movement that happened in the pre-Gandhian phase of Indian National Congress, the most prominent movement of the pre-Gandhian phase. When you're preparing for prelims, you need to understand these basic things. What is Swadeshi movement? Who were the prominent leaders of the Swadeshi movement? What was the general position of the Congress moderates and Congress extremists with regard to Swadeshi movement? And ultimately, what was the fallout? What was the major storm centers of the Swadeshi movement? And lastly, but not leastly, what was the impact or the fallout, or how did the movement fizzle out? That is the end of it. Now your prelims understanding is over. But when you are reading this from a mains point of view, this is not sufficient. You know what is Swadeshi movement. You should be in a position to write about Swadeshi movement as an individual candidate, to present an answer about Swadeshi movement from an analytical point of view. This is where your mains preparation is slightly different. How can you give an answer from an analytical point of view? Now you have all details with you. Okay, all basic details with you, which you have prepared for your prelims. Naturally, you need to connect all these basic details, and ultimately you need to evolve your own perspective with regard to Swadeshi movement. I'll just do that for and as an example for you people. You should start writing what is Swadeshi movement. Definitely, who all were the prominent leaders of Swadeshi movement. You know very well that Congress was divided into two factions. One was moderates under the leadership of people like Firoz Shah Mehta, Badruddin Tayyabji, Ananda Charlu, and many others. And on the other side, there was an extremist faction led by Lal Bal Pal. You know all the three. I'm not explaining. Plus one more person, that is Aravind Ghosh. And you need to know their position, of course. That is not sufficient. You need to write their position from an analytical point of view. Analytical point of view in the sense, you need to identify what were the merits, demerits, and the causes of why they took such a position. I repeat, you need to identify the merits of their position, you need to identify the demerits of their position, and you need to present your answer in a cause-effect manner. Why such a position? This is where, or this is the question a mains candidate, or from a mains point of view, a candidate should ask always to himself. Why plus how. These two things should be familiar for a candidate. Naturally, if you take the extremist position in the pre-Gandhian phase, you need to identify why they took such a position, what were the reasons for them, like Lal Bal Pal and Aravind Ghosh, to take such a position. They wanted to bring more vigor and vitality into the movement. They wanted to convert Swadeshi movement into an all India movement. All these things are familiar for you. Why they took such a position and how they articulated their position in this matter. This should be clear to a candidate more than the factual understanding that he or she develops about Swadeshi movement. This is where the analytical skill of a candidate comes to the picture. Again, that is not enough. You developed all these things, that is fine. You need to take your own position. Finally, UPSC expects you to write your answer in such a way that your individual position is articulated in the answer. I repeat, UPSC expects you to write your answer in a particular manner that your own individual position is articulated in the answer. How can you articulate your own individual position? Imagine you wrote about all these things. Finally, you tender an opinion. You tender as an individual candidate, you tender an opinion about these things, and you are actually reflecting your position regarding the entire matter. There is how your answer is different. There is how your answer becomes special, your answer becomes unique, and that individual position itself will be given 1 mark by UPSC. I hope the idea is properly articulated. I'll give one more example. Before coming to that example, how can you develop your own individual position? When you study any subject, say for example, except pure science subjects like science and technology, to a substantial extent the geography, to some extent environment, even environment where you can take individual position, in every other subject, whether it is culture, whether it is history, definitely it is polity, then whether it is subjects like economics, to some extent, you can take even a current affair issue, something related to a recent development. You should be in a position to take your individual position in that matter instead of writing something from somebody else and copying it in the answer paper, because your individual position matters since you are a potential administrator. So how can you take that individual position? That is very important. Whenever you study an incident, you need to keep a diary, you need to keep a notebook with you. You need to write the key elements of that incident, which is required for prelims as well as for mains. After that, you need to write about that incident on your own in an analytical point of view. I repeat the whole thing. You need to write about that particular incident. Say for example, it's Swadeshi movement on your own from an analytical point of view. Again, I am bringing forth one more example, which may be an even more resounding example, I would say. Recently, you know very well that Article 370 was a potential area because the government annulled Article 370, took away, or we can say removed the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir and re-articulated, or we can say that reframed the entire administrative structure of Jammu and Kashmir, converting it into two different union territories. Leave that, you know the factual things. I'm not repeating it. Now the question is something related to Article 370, and of course in 2020 mains you can expect a question related to Article 370. How will you deal with that? Again, that is a pure polity area. you need to initially understand. You depend on different books, maybe D.D. Basu, the Constitution of India, where Article 370 is discussed elaborately. You may be depending on Lakshmikant, its Indian polity. There also there is a separate chapter on the special status of Jammu and Kashmir, that is Article 370. Though Article 370 is repealed, as a candidate you should understand what is Article 370 primarily. Second thing, you need to identify or you need to go through the entire gamut of incidents, a historical understanding with regard to Jammu and Kashmir. Not the firing or what you say, the crossover of army between India and Pakistan, not any of those things, but the administrative developments that were happening with regard to Jammu and Kashmir during the tenure of Jawaharlal Nehru government, where it began. Okay, it was at that point of time that Article 370 was instituted. During the tenure of Shastri government, Indira government, again after that a long period of time, till the current dispensation and the current Modi government, which of course repelled 370 and initiated something else. So once you develop a historical understanding, you are in a position, please listen carefully, you are in a position to take a stand with regard to Article 370. That is where your analytical ability comes into the picture. Now you can say, definitely, since you studied the whole set of incidents, now you are in a position to say whether it was appropriate to repeal Article 370. Of course, since you are supposed to say it is appropriate, since the government has taken all sides, definitely, what would be the possible outcome of repealing Article 370? What are the pros and cons that are involved? And what is your personal position with regard to the future of Jammu and Kashmir in the current state of affairs or in the current point of view? This should be the general nature in which you should write a mains answer. Okay, so naturally your individual position comes into the picture and you are specifically taking a stand on the matter. Again, how can you take such a stand? As I stated before, once you study Article 370, you need to keep a personal book of your own. You need to write a separate, maybe for polity or maybe for all incidents. You need to write all details related to Article 370, though the article is not there currently. It is repealed already. Then you need to identify the major developments with regard to Article 370. And finally, you should specifically write what is your individual position with regard to Article 370 as a potential administrator, as a candidate. Naturally, your answer is perfect. Your answer is complete. You cover all those areas. And as an individual, you are never relying on somebody else's opinion, but you have your own personal opinion with regard to this matter. I hope you are fully convinced with regard to what I say. Again, if you take another issue. Okay, we dealt with these two issues. One is from history and the other is from polity. You take another issue. Say, for example, the Paris Climate Agreement, from which the Trump dispensation of United States withdrew. How should you analyze that incident? Again, you need to understand this purely environment, the concept of climate change primarily. You need to understand how or why climate change is a potentially important area. We know very well that we are experiencing massive floods in the past 2 years, and in this year also we are expecting, we don't know whether it happened, a relatively heavy rainfall definitely. Again, we are going through a state of increasing humidity all around. Naturally, you need to understand what is climate change. You need to develop an idea with regard to Paris Climate Agreement, which is the second important thing. And also, you need to go through the factors responsible or that prompted USA to withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement, and what would be potentially the pros and cons, the boon and bane that is involved, the merits and demerits that is involved in USA under a Trump dispensation withdrawing itself from the Paris Climate Agreement. Because we know very well that USA contributes the largest per capita amount of global warming as a nation. If an Indian contributes this much percentage, it is almost 4 times more than the Indian contribution by USA. And once USA withdraws, naturally, there is a matter of deep trouble for the whole world. Again, you need to develop your own perspective on this matter. You need to write everything in detail, and ultimately, you need, after understanding the whole set of incidents, you need to develop your own analytical perspective with regard to this matter. Once that is completed, we can say that you are eligible to write mains examination. We'll continue in the next session probably. We may continue our discussion in the next session. Thank you.